Opposition MPs were no-show Friday after a vitriolic display the night before that drew the ire of the Speaker of the House, who admonished both sides of the aisle for what she called a less-than-civilized discourse in the hallowed chamber. Thursday night, Opposition Leader Dr. Kenny Anthony expressed concern about rising budget deficits and the island's mounting debt-to-GDP ratio. He says the current rate is unsustainable in the future and painted a bleak fiscal outlook for the country in the coming years. Dr. Anthony also cast doubt on the Stephenson King administration's capacity to raise over $200 million in revenue and the decision to raise taxes during a recession. Foreign Affairs Minister Rufus Bousquet defended the administration's fiscal record and the hike in property taxes. Bousquet explained basic public services cost money and tax reform is needed to strengthen the collection of revenue to pay for these services.
The reality is that our percentage of collections is dismally low. We have a very low rate of compliance in that particular area. We have discovered that if just 20% more people paid tax, their property taxes, the government would generate at least $10 million of additional revenue. That is the reality.
Prime Minister Stephenson King in his rebuttal on Friday afternoon said while the growing debt was a cause for concern, the current levels were manageable and falls well within the acceptable benchmark set by international financial institutions.
Under this administration, Madam Speaker, there have been just single-digit increases. In 2007, 8%. In 2008, 1.2% increase in the debt to GDP. And in 2009, 3.1%. In their time, 10, 11, 12% increase in debt to GDP. Moreover, Madam Speaker, most of these more moderate increases occurred at a time of recession. Our increases occurred, as I just said, at a time of recession, when things were bad, when there was a great need to stimulate the economy.
The Prime Minister also remained firm in his resolve on the necessity of the much-debated Uanora Airport redevelopment project the opposition characterizes as a debt burden the island can ill afford. Stephenson King counters the project will spur economic growth in the south.
The investment, whenever it happens in Uanora International Airport, is not just an airport terminal. It is a stimulant. It is the Viagra for the economy in the South, to bring about a new economy in the South.
The 2010 appropriations bill, estimated at over $1.2 billion, was eventually passed without incident. However, a number of bills, like the Ramsey Commission-inspired Finance Administration Act, were deferred to a subsequent sitting of the House. The opposition says the legislation is aimed at embarrassing former Prime Minister and current opposition leader Dr. Kenny Anthony. Winston Springer Jr., HTS News, Channel 4.